My friend AJ, in December, his daughter died on the delivery table. They wrote her time of death. She had been without oxygen for 20 minutes. Death certificate written. AJ, come in, say goodbye to your daughter. AJ says, I am not saying goodbye to my daughter. He puts his hand on her and he says, I say to you, in the name of Jesus, rise up. And in front of the doctor, in front of the nurses, their daughter started gasping and breathing. And she's alive today. I have a friend named Ken who lives here in LA. Prayed for a woman who had been in a wheelchair with rheumatoid arthritis for over 40 years. Found out that she had been abused as a child and had never forgiven her abuser. He said, we need to work through this. Prayed with her for forgiveness, worked with her. After 45 minutes, she walked out of that wheelchair here in LA. The second thing I would want to say is Jesus looked into the eyes of those who were willing to kill him, and he loved them anyway. I mean, think of the centurion who claims at the end of Mark, surely this is the Son of God. Look, take a look at those who were next to him on the cross mocking him. He was even willing to forgive one of them that very day. Jesus was not hateful of people who were caught in the system of sin. Jesus loved, and he was willing to die for us while we were yet his enemies. In the same way, if we're going to follow Jesus, we shouldn't be afraid. There is no fear. Fear doesn't make sense as a Christian response. Anxiety, Philippians chapter 4 says, do not be anxious about anything. So there is no room for fear, there's no room for anxiety, but there's room for power and love. Matthew chapter 22, verse 37 says, love the Lord your God with all your heart, soul, mind, and strength, and love your neighbor as yourself. And that does not exclude Muslim neighbors. So know the truth and love all Muslims and be willing to even die if you really consider yourself a follower of Jesus.
Like we said, if God chooses to heal him, that is, I know all of our prayers. But as your family, I can tell you there'll be many in this room that will continue to pray for you. You are welcomed here. I thank you for being a man of courage, but a man of honor, that you kept your word. That when you got sick, we understood completely and we prayed for you then, but for you to come back in the midst of this and going to scans tomorrow, that was huge. But God used you. In all these services at Orange, he was simulcast in. God's used you this morning, and I just am going to pray that he heals him so he can continue to use him in great ways.